Hey there, YouTube. Heir of Carthage here, trying to bring you some live online commentary action. It's getting kind of late. I haven't really run across a match that I really felt like would be good yet, so hopefully this is one of them. Of course, with the random, matchmaking stuff, you never know what you're going to get. Let's see, modify army clear. Am I still playing the Shinobi Informer? I don't remember. Yeah, I am. Shinano River. Well, let's bring standard type of army that I like. I'm gonna actually bring 3 bow cav to constitute my bow units. It'll be cheaper than bringing other bow units too. And let's bring my typical Naginata Corps. Let's see, 4 of those guys, couple Yari cav. Ooh, this army's getting kind of pricey. Cat's getting right in my face too. And maybe a couple of Nagi attendants. Let's see, where's my Nagi attendants? Crap, I'm running out of time. Let's get a light cav. 3 Nagi attendants. Nope, can't get another light cav. I don't know, I need something. Ah. Darn it. Hate it when people ready up real fast like that. Oh well. You can click on the person's avatar picture and it'll show you how much money they've spent, and kind of the polite thing to do is to not ready up there until you see that your opponent's pretty much spent all their money, rather than just clicking the ready button. And if you're too lazy to type, then that's all you gotta do. You don't even have to type. So a little bit nicer if they do that. So I'm gonna have quite a bit of bow power. Unfortunately, because I didn't get a chance to work it out so that I could bring 2 light cav, my cavalry isn't going to be exactly what I want. And I only have 4 infantry units, but on medium funds, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, I'm not counting my meat shield, of course. I always bring the meat shield Nagi attendants. They come in handy for soaking up enemy archer fire, or when the fight begins, if you'll quickly draw them out, instead of letting them get killed, then you can put them around your general, and it makes your general very hard for enemy cavalry to kill, and they can intercept charges by enemy infantry, whatever. They're just a good unit to keep around your general to help protect him. And he played the Metsuke Inspector, which is kind of odd. Most of the time people don't play that. And it's supposed to undo the Shinobi Informer, but it doesn't work. Yeah, so I'm not supposed to be able to see his army, but I totally can. So he's got a 175 range bow warrior monk, another 175 range bow monk. So he spent a lot of money on those. Naginata Samurai Corps, just like mine, except my Naginata Samurai are better. And he's brought 2 Yari Cavalry as well, and a Fire Cav, and it looks like he's trying to hide a bow warrior monk up here in the woods. That's interesting. He's hiding all of his units up here in the woods, but I already saw them, so it doesn't matter. So he's got a cav supremacy, but with my Nagi attendants, as long as I keep my cav close to him, I should be good to go. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'll try and push across the river early. See if I can make it across. Let's get my Yari cav, my light cav. I'll use them to help protect Patchy. And if my opponent is smart, he will not let his cavalry... No, what the... He won't let his cavalry get close to all my army, because my army has a lot of spear troops for support. Let's see what my opponent's thinking he's going to do here. So he's definitely one for readying up quick, it looks like. Let's get the bow cav over across the river. He's got all of his troops right up here in these woods, or right here in these woods, one of the two. Cat's right in my face too, so... You know what, though? I'm not sure I need to rush across here or not. See, I don't know. I think he's got his other troops hidden I know I saw him move one up here, but it makes me wonder if he has them hidden right here. So we'll see if any bow monks pop out, because they should be in range in a minute. I mean, I'm pretty sure I gotta look at his entire army, though I'm not certain of it. So I'm gonna keep my bow cav close to all my spear units at all times. That way I can lend support, and if my opponent gets too hasty with his cav, then that'll give me the opportunity to gain a mobility superiority. I do have quite a bit of mobility, but his melee power with his cav is better. And I'm trying to see the power balance. It looks like it's actually just a slight bit in my favor, but that could be because I have attendant units too. Because I think that thing's kind of based on number of units and numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, he's got all of his troops up here in the forest. I don't know why you bring 2 bow warrior monks and then camp up in the forest on this map. He could have easily guarded the the crossing, and I can also put a lot of my troops up here in these woods if I want to and protect them from bow fire. So I'm really not sure what the point of this was. I'm sure he really wants me to attack uphill, but I'm just not sure that I'm going to favor him with that. In fact, I'll go capture the workshop real quick. Yeah, I'm just going to set up camp out here. They usually want you to walk into the woods, but, I mean, to be honest, what does my opponent have that should make me walk into these woods? He doesn't have a ranged advantage, so, I mean, even if he did, he can use his ranged advantage against me. He doesn't, I mean, he's got this nice terrain, but there's nothing about my terrain that's forcing me to attack him. So I really guess I just don't have an interest in going into that forest. I don't want his troops to have cover from my bow cav. So I'll just go over here and capture my men a little bit extra armor. Won't be like a huge deal, but it'll definitely make me slightly more resistant to his arrow fire. So I might as well take advantage of it, because it doesn't look like my opponent's going to be in any hurry to come out of the woods. And to be quite honest, when you get in a situation like this, a lot of people play this way online. It's kind of a nuisance, really, because I'm not trying to be mean again, but, you know, like, why is it that my opponent should have the privilege of being able to stay way back here in his deployment zone, and I have to come get him? So I guess I don't like that mindset a whole lot, where it's kind of like, I'm going to sit back here and you have to attack me because I'm solely basing my strategy on defense and trying to ambush you because you're coming into my force position. But it doesn't, there's not like a chosen defender or attacker in these battles, so there's really not any reason for you to just go ahead. So, I mean, you can just wait him out sometimes. So, let's see if I can take some shots at his cav with my bow cav. Let's just do some back and forth here. I've got all my spear units to protect my bow cav, so I'm honestly not worried. I mean, I'm sure he's just jacking around here trying to get me to come forward, so I don't really expect much of it. Here we go. So I now have the armor workshop. Again, not a big deal, but I mean, it does make my Naginata units almost completely impervious to arrow fire. So I am just going to pull back at this point and take it easy. My 3 bow cav will waste his 2 bow warrior monks on open ground. That might be part of the reason why he's trying to hole up here in the forest. But I'm also guessing part of the reason is he's probably positioned his troops, or he thinks he's got some clever thing set up in a different forest ready to ambush me. I mean, otherwise, why would someone sit here? So whenever you see something like this, just try and keep your wits about you and remember that, I mean, no one's just going to stand there for no reason or with no plan. So he's got some kind of motive behind it. And even if the motive is just simply, I want to be camping in this forest to stay away from your arrows, you know, fine, whatever. But there's a motive behind it. You know, don't be fooled on that. And a lot of times the motive behind these things is because they think they've thought up some kind of clever ambush. And again, that may not turn out to be the case, but if it does, then, you know, so be it. Oh, he's going to pull up and fire some with his avatar. Yeah, he can probably shoot all day with his avatar, and it's really not going to do him a whole lot of good. So I'm just going to let him do so. I'm not really going to be prodded into much of an attack here because he's just going to pull back the second that I move my bow cab forward. So his avatar is not going to have much ammo. It's not going to do much damage. So yeah, big whoop-de-doo. Go ahead and shoot at my Naginata attendants. If he comes within range of my bow cab, then that's just all the better. Yeah, he's shooting my Naginata Samurai, and I'm actually pretty impressed that he even got a kill. Let's see, he can dismount, scares enemies, good stamina. He doesn't really have any extra bow talents. So, yeah, his bow damage is going to be pretty darn limited before he runs out of ammo. And I'm not going to waste my bow cab ammo on his general. It probably won't do any kills anyway. This will just allow me to go ahead and get this out of his system. Yeah, sorry that's not that exciting. I mean, but I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I don't necessarily have any reason to push the attack up into those woods. He's just shooting my Naginata attendants, which that's all they were meant for anyway. So they're only meant to soak up the ammo from my opponent. So it's really no concern of mine. He's only gotten 11 kills on that unit, 1 on this. I think he killed 1 of my Naginata Samurai, which must have been like a lucky fluke. And like I said, his general will run out of ammo before too long. So I'm definitely curious to see what his purpose for sitting up here in the woods is. I'm really not sure. It's only got 25 ammo, so it's probably not going to last much longer. That's the same amount of ammo I think that a bow Ashigaru has, so I don't really expect too much to happen. Let's run forward real quick. See if he's watching my bow cav. Yep. So, I mean, he wants to play the whole cat and mouse game, that's fine. Like I said, he's got some kind of motive for sitting there in the woods, and I'm not in any particular hurry. So I'm actually going to just quit recording, and I'll start recording again whenever he realizes that I'm not going to just march into whatever little trap or setup he's got set up there. So, see you then. Alright, I think my opponent just made a mistake. He's really determined to keep his cavalry behind me, and right here I'm going to box him in with the Naginata Sam unit and my 2 cav. So I'm pretty sure he's just lost his cav advantage here. I'm even going to bring my bow cav in here to help close the gap. Dismount. I should be able to slaughter his cavalry in one fairly quick stroke here. Plus catch his general behind my lines. Let's get these Naginata ready to intercept. Yep, his cavalry is getting slaughtered up in this corner. So that's going to give a lot of big... See, this is why you shouldn't get too defensive like this. Like, my opponent completely insists on having his cav behind my army, but he didn't realize that I had the mobility to cut him off from support, and so I used the versatility of multiple units there. So I just cut down his cavalry, which was far superior, far more expensive to my own. And now I can just plop Apache into stand and fight. His bow monks are too far away to support. I'm just going to outflank his infantry here. Let's, now that he has no other units, we can just bog him down. And this is really just going to become an outflanking game to finish him off. See if we can go ahead and start carrying the cavalry around the rear. I don't think we're going to need to. I'm pretty sure my troops are going to handily finish him off. Yeah, his bow monks are going to be less than effective because they're in the forest. So, you know, my opponent's strategy here was just really, really campy. And what he didn't realize is that you can't hold off a spear army with cavalry holding one of your flanks. He didn't have the versatility to pull off the strategy that he thought he could. And so right there he hit his own guys with his whistling arrows too, so that's never going to help things. And now it's just a matter of killing these monk bowmen over here. It's not going to be an issue because I have all my cavalry left. So my opponent was really just way too defensive there. He should have been willing to get out and be a little more aggressive, use those bow monks where they would have been more effective while my men were trying to come across the choke point. So he spent a lot of money on these units for them to turn out to be pretty worthless. They were too far away to support his fight. He let his cavalry get pinned up in the corner. So yeah, make sure you, whenever you're using flanking components like my opponent did, make sure that you don't let your flanking opponents get split up or cut off from assistance. If you allow your army to get cut off from assistance, then it can get destroyed piecemeal before the other ones can get there, which is exactly what happened in this case. So you can see my troops had a very handy victory over his. Good game to my opponent. Hope you learned a little bit of something from that strategy. So right there, I took the terrain advantage away from my opponent because his army lacked the versatility to hold me off, and his you all didn't get to see that part, but I was using my light cav to spot his units in the forest, because light cav has excellent spotting. So I found out his 4 Naginata units and his 2 bow units were indeed hiding off to the left of his general and his cav units. So, you know, it's like a whole army of Naginatas. What's his general and his cav units going to do to stop them? So I just captured that hill where he'd be on even ground, and just came at him from that direction, which made his bow warrior monks null and void. And at that point, I was able to use my bow cav and my other spear units to completely cut off his cavalry unit. I can't imagine why he ran all that cavalry up into that corner, because even if I didn't pin him up in that corner, I had all the Naginata attendants to the back of my army, so hammer and anvil strikes would have been completely out of the question. But like I said, good game to my opponent. Hope you enjoyed it. I thought it, you know, I understand the strategy that he was going for, but I think his army kind of lacked the versatility to pull it off, because his cavalry was ill-equipped to face my Naginata troops. That's why I use a Naginata corps a lot. It's not to make cavalry worthless, because obviously I use cavalry, and you can hammer and anvil a Naginata unit and rout it, but you can't use it to just completely hold up someone's army. So that's why I like the Naginata corps. So people can't stop my army from advancing with just a wing of cavalry. So again, I think that's one of the pieces of versatility that goes into it. There's the kills for my units. A lot of my units didn't necessarily get all that many kills. This one Naginata unit that got into the fight against all the cavalry probably cleaned house. And my light cav even got 45 kills. Yari cav got 69 kills. Like I said, hope you enjoyed that battle, YouTube. Alright, here's another live commentary. This one actually looks like it's going to be a fairly well balanced game as far as rank goes. Let's get rid of this army. I don't know why that was selected as one I was using for a small funds battle earlier. I'm going to once again bring bow cav. I love the versatility that these guys offer. This one unit is still pretty beat up. That one's at 73% strength, 64%. I'll bring this one that's at 73% strength. It'll just be a little bit of added kick there. Let's again bring let's bring a Yari cav and 2 light cav, just so that'll give me quite a bit of different mobile troops. I'm always bringing the Naginata corps. I'm definitely going to bring a couple of Naginata units. These guys always are critical in my armies. And I kind of want to bring the Nodachis, but I'm always a little scared to bring the Nodachis, just because they're so vulnerable to archer fire. Let's leave the Nodachis behind for now. And then I want to bring a nice solid meat shield of Naginata attendants. These guys are pretty hard to beat when it comes to getting a little bang for your buck there. I think that's pretty much all we need to do there. So yeah, I've got 2 Naginata units, 2 sword units, all these Naginata attendants. I should be good here. I think this army will provide me what I need here. I've got plenty of bow strength, got some mobility, pretty strong infantry corps, and then a bunch of throwaway units, so this should give me what I need. I'm also using the Shinobi Informer, which on this map is kind of helpful. I'm not sure that I would always recommend using the Shinobi Informer, because although yes, you can see where your opponent's deploying their army, assuming they don't play the Matsuke Inspector, which my opponent did in the last battle, and still let me look at him. The Shinobi Informer doesn't really give any bonus to your army, so it's always a risk when you put it in there. So basically, my retainers, one of them's based on nerfing his swords, one of them's based on nerfing his spears, so it's going to give a general nerfing to his infantry. I think he can play another retainer that I can't, maybe? I'm not sure, I don't know, I didn't catch his rank entirely. So that's always tough. But my general should be on basically equal ground with his when it comes to abilities. So his will only be, well, I mean, it depends on how he's upgraded his general, so it's hard to say. He's only played Cold Snap against me, which is not really that big a deal, in my opinion. And I'm not even sure if it affects bow cavalry. All enemy bow units, so it probably does affect bow cavalry. We'll take a look at it. My bow cavalry have like an 80 reload speed anyway, so even if their reload speed gets nerfed, it's still going to be incredibly fast. Guess the match is loading up here. See if this other person gets loaded in. Maybe they have a slow connection or something. Alright, come on. Crying out loud. Oh man, I'm so glad to be home, but I'm so tired too, and I still got 2 days of work. Man, there's nothing like doing 2 16-hour days. And then you turn around and you're only partway through the week. That's ridiculous. So I think, yeah, today was only a 10-hour day. Monday and Tuesday were 16-hour days. So I've already put in, what does that make it, 42 hours? And I got 2 days left. Let's take a look at my opponent's army here. Nodachi, Naginata, Samurai, Warrior Nuns, Nuns. Nodachi, he has a rush army. He doesn't have any cavalry to protect from my bow cav. Bad news for my opponent. Bad news for my opponent. See if we can hide those 3 cav units. Let's put my bow cav. I don't think he had any cav. He may have hidden them quickly. I don't know. I'm going to hide my attendant spam in this wood. And let's put my Naginatas and my swords and my general up here. That way we have a nice spread on the battlefield, and I can just really pick at those nun units with my bow cav. This ought to be entertaining, to say the least. And I'll get this morale shrine. Yeah, my opponent really should have gone for the morale shrine. I'll leave those attendant units in the woods in case I end up needing them, and I'll leave my other cavalry hidden for the time being. Let's go up here, and if he didn't bring any cavalry, then he is in big trouble. He has upgraded the attack on his general. What I'll do is I'll bring my bow cav up here, and if he's foolish enough to continue to chase my bow cav, I will simply just charge my 2 light cav, my Yari cav into his general, and kill his general early on. So yeah, this could indeed be a big problem for my opponent. Yep, look, he's charging his general. Let's see if we can lure him out just a little bit more. I don't want to expose my my hidden cav until I can actually get his general. In fact, let's take one of these hidden cav units. Scoot it up. He is still chasing. Okay, so now is when we will spring the trap. There we go. Yep, we just lured his general into a nice one here. He might get away though, we'll see. He's definitely going to be making a run for it. I sprung that just a smidge too early, and I probably could have catch him. Yep, I caught him. And he's not. His general's, going to get caught off the charge. Plus, all these units have a bonus first cab, and his general doesn't. So his general is going to die very, very early on in the fight. Oh, that is going to be really bad for my opponent. So yeah, you always want to make sure that you're not leading an important unit into an ambush. So that just turned out really well for me. I'm going to continue to harass this general unit. Even if I lose one of my cav units, I'm going to take every opportunity here to see if I can kill his general. Because that'll just demoralize his troops something fierce early on. Only 7 men left in that general unit. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and pull out. I'm just going to let my bow cav start opening up on all these units. Yeah, that was totally worth it. I just really messed his general unit up bad. And I'm just going to sit here and pick the crap out of these nun units. My opponent should really have run for forest cover and just stayed there. I mean, that's about the only option he has in this case, because my bow cavalry are going to single-handedly win this fight. He's calling me a noob. Come on, noob, what? Come on, what? Charge my cavalry into your infantry and die. So... honestly, you bring infantry that can't chase down cavalry, and you expect me to just charge my cavalry in there. So I think he's going to rage quit at this point. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I must be the noob, since I'm the one who brought the army combination that was completely unversatile and completely worthless. So yes, that makes me the noob. I'm the noob that walked into the trap with your cavalry and nearly got my general killed right at the outset of the battle. That just cracks me up, folks. That's good. Alright, well, if my opponent's watching this, I'm not trying to be mean, but honestly, that just didn't make much sense. Someone did that to me earlier, too. They called me, oh, what was it? I was playing a lower rank player, and they're like, oh, you just won because your units are leveled up. Well, I mean, that does play into it, but he brought a really bad army, and then took bad position on the map, so you can't necessarily blame something like... just because, you don't like it. I mean, my opponent's army was completely unversatile. It's low in numbers. He was extremely vulnerable to arrows. He didn't have a meat shield to even soak up the arrows that were going to be coming, from my army. So when you bring an army, I mean, look at his army composition down here. When you bring an army with no dachis and warrior nuns, and this is your only meat shield unit right here, that ain't going to cut it. It's just not going to work. Or marathon monks, all these units extremely vulnerable to missile fire, and especially missile cav, because there's really nothing. So, think about your army there when it comes to versatility before you choose an army, so that you don't end up in a situation where you're upset because, come on, noob. It still cracks me up. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my army is so completely superior to yours. I'm just going to go ahead and charge all my cavalry right into your infantry and let them die. I don't understand that mindset. Again, I'm not trying to just be out and out rude to my opponent, but I found that, I mean, I can understand if he just gets frustrated and mouths off. That happens to people sometimes, so it's not like it's really offended me or anything, but I don't know, I just think that's funny. Anyway, Heir of Carthage out of here for now, YouTube. I know that wasn't an entire battle, but I still feel like it's going to illustrate a lesson there. Army composition is a big deal. So my army was mobile, it was versatile, and I knew where the key buildings were, and I went for an important key building, and I kept other units to harass him while he was trying to take the key building that he was after. So watch your army composition. That's the only thing I can say to you. And my army's not strong versus everything, but it's fairly versatile army. And anyway, Heir of Carthage signing off for now. Hope you enjoyed it.